Hi guys, Olive here today to do a review of The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin. This book was published in 2018 by Putnam Books, and the hardcover copy that I received from Putnam in exchange for an honest review comes in at 346 pages. This book tells the tale of the four gold children. There is Varya, the careful pragmatist, Daniel, the moral leader, Clara, the unconventional magic lover, and Simon, the reserved heir apparent to the family business. In 1969, when they all are children, they start to hear rumblings in their neighborhood about this fortune-telling woman who can tell you the exact date that you are going to die. They decide to seek this woman out, and when they do eventually find out where she is living, they go as a group to meet her, but individually go into the room to receive their fortunes from her. We don't find out immediately from all four children what their day is, but as the story goes on in one way or another, we do find out when each of the four of them is supposedly going to meet their demise. This happens at the very beginning of the book, and the remainder of the book is dedicated to following these four siblings through the decades. Each one is given their own chunk of the novel, and we find out as these dates inch closer and then finally come whether or not the woman was right. Now, to me at least, this synopsis suggests a hint of magical realism, or of something the least bit supernatural about the story. As I suspected, that is not the case at all in this novel. This is straight literary fiction, for whatever that's worth in your eyes as a reader. I'm not saying that the book lacked anything for the absence of something paranormal, but this is a classic case of a publisher dressing up a book to be something that it is just not at its core in order to appear flashier on the shelf. I have found, at least in my experience, that this leads to a disappointed reader, one that has been misled, and that is something I definitely want to help my fellow readers avoid. In fact, for all the hype being generated around the premise of this story, that the four gold children receive prophecies of their deaths, the synopsis fails to relate what Chloe Benjamin actually does with this concept. In this book, she studies the idea at all angles. She looks into it like it's her own crystal ball. I think in the book, she's asking two big questions. The first being, would knowing the date of your death in the future inform your present behavior? This question forces the warring factions of fate and self-fulfilling prophecy to be constantly butting heads during this novel. And the second question is, should we know this information? What would knowing such a thing do to us? What is its capacity to save or destroy us? These are really interesting questions. But in my opinion, the messages aren't the strongest part of this book. The thoughts that were brewing in my head during the early sections of this novel were really intriguing. I found it all to be really good food for thought. But then as I progressed through the text, I found that it was all just laid out there in black and white. So unfortunately, I did find this book to be a little bit too on the nose in that it really didn't leave a whole lot open for reader interpretation. And the story itself, especially given the structure of the novel and the first child section in general, ended up being rather predictable, which is disappointing. I don't want to be able to say exactly what's going to happen before I read a huge chunk of the novel. But that is where the true strength of this novel comes in. Chloe Benjamin has created characters that make you want to keep reading regardless. They are all flesh and blood people with their vices and their shortcomings right there at the forefront. We get to know them and we get to see them on their journeys as they all, despite being wildly different from one another, allow their prophecies to let them lean in to their natural proclivities in both positive and negative ways. I think this is an ideal read for those who love character-driven stories or family sagas. Chloe Benjamin even manages to make the side characters interesting and memorable. That being said, I did feel that the mother of the four gold children, Gertie, was a bit of a missed opportunity. We see her in every child section. She does have an ongoing presence. So it makes sense that every time we meet her, we're seeing her with different eyes, since we're seeing her from the point of view of each of the four children. But even come the end of the novel, I still felt that I wasn't able to grasp who she was as a person with both hands. I thought that was a shame in general, but especially because she has this conversation with Varya in Varya's section of the book where she just absolutely tells it like it is, and it really made me wish that I had experienced more of that. So overall, for me, As a reader who typically wants a strong story that has a message that keeps my wheels turning the whole time and then even after I finish the book, this one missed the mark a little bit for me. But I still did really enjoy it. Even I couldn't help but fall for this family. If you have read this book or if you want to read this book, I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. Or if you would like to chat somewhere other than YouTube, I am on a variety of different places on social media, and the links to all of my profiles are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.